Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description. Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome to the Going In Raw Dirt Sheet, the only place you need to be going for pro wrestling news. Available right here at youtube.com/Steve Larson. Also available at, iTunes, the places where you get podcasts.
Podcast places.
Man, I went completely off the rails there.
Yeah,
Hold
you
on,
did.
because I got to look up. I got to see where we are in the top 150 of iTunes Sports and Rec category. Remember, whenever you friendos out there hit the download or subscribe button, that helps. Whenever I wake up, I do a couple things. I check the Twitter, I check our YouTube analytics, and I check the top 150 in sports and recreation. But I forgot to do it this morning because I knew I was going to do it later on today. And we are number 85, holding strong at 85 in the top 150. So thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Subscribe and download button and watching us here in the YouTube. Evidently, there's been some chatter in the YouTube circles about subs being lost.
Yeah.
And I've noticed like our sub numbers have been steadily going down since our big jump earlier this year.
You mean in terms of net subs?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know if that's a standard attrition. In our case, I have no idea.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you guys want to follow us, I always, these days I'm being kind of vigilant about tweeting out from @Steven Larson or @Real Going In Raw about new videos that we have going up. But if we're not in your, because I did see some comments saying, hey, this didn't show up in a sub box.
Yeah.
Make sure that you're subbed to the channel if you're really interested in our stuff and want to, be notified when we have new stuff, or make sure that you're,
And we
signed
also
up to
we
Twitter.
also adhere to a pretty consistent schedule.
Yeah, we do. Yeah, everybody
So-
knows day after Raw, day after SmackDown, and then Fridays,
Saturday and Sunday.
Saturday and Sunday, and then we're probably going to be adding some content to our
Yep.
schedule as well.
Well, then on Monday there's fun wrestling too. We can't forget about that.
Wrestling.
Fun wrestling.
And so yeah, we're gonna. But the thing is, like, so the Machinima recap show is done and
been
over
deleted.
with. It's been deleted, which we're kind of excited about because it just means that time that we spent doing that stuff, we now get to spend on our own channel, growing that even further. And we know that a lot of you out there have been sort of like, well, your content's kind of long. And I sort of had to stick up my ass. I'm like, I kind of wouldn't mind doing some short form content out there for some people. So some of the things that we have that we're thinking about might be in the 10-minute range, 10 to 15-minute range. And I think I'm really excited about some of it. It's going to be kind of fun for you guys. So a little bit more. We have the longer podcast, but also I want to get some bite-sized stuff too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we also, of course, have our Patreon at patreon.com/Steven Larson. I want to say thanks to everybody out there for kicking in for that.
Yes. Thank you very much.
On to the news.
The news.
There's quite a bit this week.
Yeah.
Not a lot of salacious stuff, but some interesting stuff nonetheless.
Well, I mean, this first story is potentially, I don't know if salacious is exactly the word, but late last week.
Backstage discontent.
Yes.
That's always good for food.
Late last week, Pro Wrestling Unlimited
Yeah.
reported that John Cena, the face that runs the place,
Yeah.
was apparently, potentially rumored to be upset
Not happy.
with the WWE.
Yeah.
And that due to this discontent, The Undertaker was asked to return before WrestleMania season.
Yeah.
According to Pro Wrestling Unlimited, Cena grew upset because he didn't learn of Goldberg's return beforehand, and he thought, since he's top star,
Hey, I get to be in the know.
that no one let him know about Goldberg's return in advance. And apparently Cena is also rumored, according to Pro Wrestling Unlimited, to be upset because of part-timers getting huge paychecks without being on the road full-time, and he feels, if rumors are true, that money could be used to develop other talents and give them pushes.
Yeah, but then DailyWrestlingNews.com earlier this week had a story which seemingly refuted these rumors.
Somewhat, yeah.
Saying that there's some, quote, friendly tension between Cena and Vince regarding John's pursuit of projects outside of WWE, which seem to be pretty,
Substantial. We'll get to more about that later.
Yeah. Additionally, Daily Wrestling News confirmed the Pro Wrestling Unlimited report that Cena wasn't thrilled about the return of Goldberg. And part of the reason was that Cena had pursued TV and movie part of the reason that he has pursued TV and movie projects a bit more these days because he feels as if he's being, quote, taken for granted. Daily Wrestling News continues, quote, Cena reportedly feels he has always been there for the company no matter what and is frustrated by the big money and attention that part-timers like Lesnar, Goldberg, and The Rock were getting for limited schedules or few appearances, feeling that he should be treated the same way, which is kind of interesting because and kind of weird because, okay, so for one thing, from what we know from Total Bellas, Cena seems to be a very... In addition to being a very regimented person, you know, and a very, like, keeping everything professional seems to be his MO.
Yes.
And even if that's sort of, they're asking him to play up that aspect of his character, he kind of comes off that way. And everything he tweets and everything he says, he seems to be a very regimented, professional person.
Disciplined
person is a good word to use for him.
I mean, last weekend leading up to Survivor Series, he was tweeting out promotions for Survivor Series.
Yeah.
And
he was saying, you know, he was all, I forget what it was exactly, but it was like very positive about Goldberg and wow, this is great. Yeah. Congratulations to all these guys and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Odd that he wasn't at Survivor Series, though.
I know.
That was odd that he wasn't at Survivor Series. Yeah. So, I mean, I don't know. I find it hard to believe that he would take offense to this stuff. He doesn't seem like the type.
I know, being in the business as long as he has, he knows how the business works.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess there's an aspect of, you know, hey, I'm a big piece of your business. You know, it'd be nice if I got a text saying, hey, John, this is Vince. Hey, guess who we got? Goldberg. If you don't remember him or not, you know? Like, maybe he's just kind of annoyed that, like, he didn't get the inside scoop on that before it happened, because I could see that. Like, you're a piece of the company.
Yeah.
You're a big piece of the company.
Major piece of the company, yeah.
You've got the owner's ear. You're making all this money hand over fist for the owners.
Yep.
And you're not being told when something big like Goldberg coming in would happen. I mean, I could kind of get that, but at the same time, you know, I don't know. It seems that kind of behavior seems kind of beneath John Cena. Like, I would think that he would be like, look, I'm here. He's even said, like, when there was a TMZ video, somebody said, hey, John, are they going to turn you heel? And he says, I do what they want me to do. You know, so there's also a piece of me that thinks, you know, he is kind of, regardless, he's always there. He might be always there for the company no matter what, but he's also been doing a lot of other projects. Yes. You know? And so
this is the second season of American Grit.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
He's been in,
which I hadn't even heard of.
Oh, you hadn't?
I had not heard of it.
I watched a little bit of the first season.
Did you? Okay.
Yeah.
I hadn't heard about it.
He was in Trainwreck?
Yeah, he was in Trainwreck. He was in Sisters. Yeah, he was funny in Sisters. He's funny in Trainwreck.
And he's got another movie
called The Pact.
Yes.
From Rogan and Goldberg, Seth Rogen and Evan Goldberg's
production company. Yeah. According to Variety, John Cena has just been cast in this movie.
Mm-hmm. It's a film about three parents who find out their daughters have made a pact to lose their virginities on prom night, and they ban. I wonder who his wife is going to be. Did it say?
Leslie Mann's in it.
I wonder if she plays the wife. If I was Judd Apatow, I'd be cool with that. I'd be like, all right, time to do a nude scene with these two, with my wife and John Cena.
Yeah. In Variety's report,
let's see them do it.
In Variety's report, they didn't mention when the Pact was going to begin production.
Yeah.
But WrestleZone speculated that Cena could miss even more time if the movie's going to start shooting soon. Mm-hmm. Shortly after finishing American Grit.
Yeah, he's been rumored to return to the Madison Square Garden house show on 12/26, but no TV return date has been announced. This is part of the problem of SmackDown, though, is that Cena was like a huge piece. He's like, what, the number 5 pick or something?
Yeah.
He's top 5 pick, I think, for SmackDown.
But I think also, too, he was, you know,
the
major name on the show, the top name on the show.
The way that they had planned on garnering ratings, on making SmackDown a legitimate show. And he's like, it feels like he's never there.
Yeah.
He hasn't been there since No Mercy.
Yeah.
No Mercy.
So since
he hasn't been there.
October.
And it's like they need that big star power. You know, they really do. That's why we've been saying, you know, man, it'd be great if like a Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns hopped over there, because, you know, they're relying on James fucking Ellsworth.
I know. The top of the card on SmackDown seems depleted.
there's nothing going on there. Although ratings are up. We're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Yeah.
Also according to Daily Wrestling News, the planned Cena Undertaker match at WrestleMania 33 may not be happening, as Vince has asked creative to come up with other ideas for Taker at Mania. And good news for you guys, a couple weeks ago we did a couple top 10 lists.
Yep.
Who Undertaker should be fighting now in his new phase going through to WrestleMania 33.
I think John Cena was number 1 on the list.
Spoiler alert.
Of people he should wrestle.
Well, then it's a perfect top 9. Then it's a perfect top 9.
But I don't know who else other than Cena for the Undertaker. Who else makes sense?
Who else was on our list?
I think Goldberg was on there.
Goldberg was on there, so make it a top 8 because he's going to be taking on Lesnar. That's a fucking lock.
Oh, yeah.
That is a lock.
Yep.
That is happening. Who else can Taker favor? Kane was on there just because of career-wise.
Yeah.
Was Rusev on there?
I don't think so.
I don't think Rusev's on there. He's on Raw anyways. That's not. It needs to be a SmackDown person. Baron Corbin. Baron freaking Corbin. Elevate him to Undertaker status.
I mean, that'd be good for Baron.
Randy Orton. That's probably who it's going to be.
Oh yeah, I think on, I don't know if it was the Daily Wrestling News story or one of the other ones I read about all this, that Orton was another name for Undertaker at WrestleMania.
I could see if, what would be awesome is if Orton and Wyatt made this a thing for a while.
Imagine if
take it to SummerSlam. You know what I mean?
No, take it to WrestleMania 34.
Yes.
Get the title involved.
Yes.
The world title involved.
Yes. That'd be cool, man. That'd be really neat.
I'm trying to find our Undertaker list, and now I can't find it.
Where's the list? Undertaker list. List. Undertaker. Nope. Don't see anywhere. Nowhere to be found.
Did we just completely make up the list as we went along?
I think you sent me. Yeah, you sent me like a text. Anyways,
that could be.
Well, those are good names that we sent out. Finn Balor. Finn
Finn was on there. Was on there.
Oh,
that'd be a good choice.
That'd be a good one. Although he's gonna be fighting Kevin Owens.
Here it is. Or part of it, at least.
All the big chunks missing. Is Lex Luger on there?
Of course not. Kurt Angle is, though.
I don't know. That's not gonna happen.
Matt Hardy was on it, I think.
Yeah, I like Broken Matt Hardy. That's a good one.
That'd be good.
A list of shit that's never gonna happen.
No,
there's probably more likely scenarios on our people who shouldn't be fighting the Undertaker list. It's all people we know is gonna happen. We're like, no. I like this. This next one is pretty cool. I like this. This makes me happy. According to the Wrestling Observer newsletter, which, by the way, did I mention this on this one? I mentioned on the predictions. They have this great rundown of. I think his name is Jim McLaughlin.
Yeah, he said that on.
I
think it was predictions.
Yeah, it talks all this great, this big fat chunk of history about one of the first big money professional wrestlers when back in the late 1800s. When didn't know was it a shoot back in the as early as the 1870s, there were matches where the crowd would chant fake. Because back then, there were legitimate matches and there were work matches. There were matches that were fake. And so even back then, people were realizing that some of this isn't quite right.
Interesting.
I know. It's all great stuff on the Wrestling Observer. I'm a big shill for Dave Meltzer's Wrestling Observer. It's a really good read. Anyways, according to Wrestling Observer and ratings in general, Nielsen reports probably, ratings for this week's Raw were up from the previous week, drawing over 3 million viewers against Monday Night Football, which drew over 13 million. That number was the highest of the fall, and Dave Meltzer states that this number is proof that, quote, the expanded push of women's wrestling has been a ratings draw. And he extrapolates from the info why he believes that. Says the third hour of the show, built around the women's title match, held up better than most weeks, up 10% from the previous week. Males 12 to 17 and males 18 to 34 peaked in the third hour, but major gains were made with viewers older than 50, which saw a large increase, up 8%. Yeah. And so that's really fascinating. The women, I mean, arguably, dude, the women's title right now is the top title on Raw. Yeah. Which kind of by proxy makes it the top title in the company. It's the most intriguing storyline. Yes. Charlotte versus Sasha. They've been doing so much with these two.
Yep. It's been the feud of the year, probably.
And they've been knocking it out of the park. Mm-hmm. I think it's Canada for Feud of the Year. We're going to have our Friendo Awards where we talk about all the different of the year. Yeah. Coming up later in the year, which is only
another 3
month
weeks
away. Yeah.
4 weeks. Yeah.
So this is really cool. Mission accomplished. It was Sasha and Charlotte, according to Meltzer, one of their early matches. that led Vince, that sort of brought Vince to see the light on women's wrestling being a draw. He saw this match of theirs in, I mean, I guess it had to have been, were they in FCW before? Were they as early as FCW? I don't know.
I think so.
I don't know. But anyways, an early match of theirs in developmental, Vince saw, and the proof is now, that proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
They are a draw. It was a hell of a match on Raw. And it was just a really good Raw. And just, proof positive. When you have a good Raw from beginning to end.
When you have quality writing, decent storytelling, and good wrestling.
Your ratings will be up. Against Monday Night Football, your ratings are going to be up.
Here's a question I have for you.
SmackDown's ratings are up too.
Yeah. With this information, what do you think the odds are that Sasha and Charlotte's feud will continue?
Man, I mean, they love their ratings. They love their ratings. So I think it would be wise for them to view Sasha and Charlotte not just as a draw together, but possibly being able to incorporate Bayley and Nia Jax into a greater women's division block of programming, and trying to use Sasha Charlotte as, because, you know, you can still have them all in the same scene, but you can then use them in fatal four-ways or tag matches. You can use these two as anchors to bring up Bayley and Nia Jax and maybe try to focus on them as well.
It's possible to have Sasha and Charlotte still feud without them necessarily feuding directly with one
kind
another.
Of like a Cold War type feud, you know? They're using others in their feud along. Yeah, for sure. I mean, because then you can have a kind of thing where Bayley and Nia Jax gets into it, you know, by being their proxies, kind of, or Dana Brooke or whatever. So, I think that, you know, if they're smart about it, if they understand that these two are money, and you can use not just them against each other, but incorporate people that, you know, look, Bayley and Nia Jax, they can be money. We know they can be money. We know they can be money, and so it's just right now they've got a wealth of that top level talent. This is what we said for a while now, ever since the brand split. It's like, man, Raw has all these top line, you know, women in their women's division, and now that's proving out. You know, so I think if they're smart about it, they can definitely they can not just
take that success and branch out from it.
Exactly, expand on it.
Yeah, I hope so.
This is exciting.
Yeah,
a little last bit of news here. This is exciting. More indie wrestling on the. I am such a mark for the WWE Network. You know what I watched last night on the network? The very first episode of Eastern Championship Wrestling. Because I watched yesterday during the day, I watched the unauthorized, untold story of ECW, and it's really good. And it got me thinking, man, if anybody out there wants to start a business in any creative field, the shit that Paul Heyman says, because he asks him, Corey Graves, who does a masterful job emceeing it, he asked Paul Heyman at the get, he says, okay, so when you use Enter Sandman, you know, on TV, how do you had no resources, how did you do it? And he said, I didn't pay anybody for that. We just did it. He said, we used it as ambient music on our pay-per-view broadcast, which was enough for, I guess, the pay-per-view, you know, service providers not to be asking any questions, or at least to get answers that they're okay with. Yeah. But he said, we didn't have the resources, so we just used it. And Corey Graves was like, so you just pirated it? And he was like, yeah. He said, when you're at that level, you have to do whatever it takes. You do it first, and then if you have to deal with the fallout later, then you deal with the fallout. Yeah. But that's what they did. There's so much really good, sage business advice. If you're starting something up and you need to cut corners and you need to do things, you need to bend the law a little bit, or straight up break copyright law, you know? I mean, in certain situations, you just got to do what you got to do, you know? I'm not advocating breaking the law or anything. Yeah. I'm just saying there's a lot of good advice in there. If you're in the trenches in your own business and you got to make certain decisions to stand out, ECW did that. Yep. And there's a lot of really cool info in there about doing just that, and really great stories. And so the WWE Network, it's obvious and the main reason why they did is because the entire ECW back catalog's in there. And so last night I went on and I watched the very first, and it was terrible. Yeah. Eastern Championship Wrestling before Paul Heyman was terrible. Didn't recognize 70% of the wrestlers.
That's pretty neat that they give you the backstory pre-Paul Heyman too.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, and Corey Graves even asked that question. He said, "So how did you get involved?" And Paul Heyman gives a little bit, but then you get to see the entire. And they said this is the debut episode, and dude, it's literally in a school gym because you see a fucking you see their bleachers. They're those wooden bleachers that look like they're devastating to fall down. And there was nothing extreme about it. It was all straight up wrestling.
Yeah.
You've got the basketball hoop over there, and they've got this really, really tacky markered ECW sign sort of taped to the back wall. I've never heard of the main announcer guy. I had never heard of the wrestler that was next to him, Stevie Wonderful or Stevie Dynamic, something weird. Terry Funk came down or Eddie Gilbert came down and did some commentary, and then Terry Funk came down and did some. So it's like, okay, I know these guys.
Yeah.
And then Todd Gordon himself came down and did some commentary. They didn't have a broadcast booth or desk. They just stood there ringside and did commentary. It was just the most podunk. You'd never know that ECW would spring from this.
Wow.
It's absolutely fascinating to watch and how podunk it is.
Wow.
But anyways, after that long rant of mine,
I think the point you're trying to make is that WWE Network is becoming a pretty significant and fantastic archive of wrestling history.
And that's what I think their goal is.
Yes.
Because according to, again, Dave Meltzer at Wrestling Observer, Vince wants some, quote, hot indies on the WWE Network. Now, we've previously reported that the WWE had sent out surveys asking subscribers about different service tiers.
Yeah.
So you'd pay different amounts for different things.
And one of which would include independent wrestling promotions.
So we're talking, they specified, would you like to see Ring of Honor, Chikara, PWG, I think was on there, a couple others.
I think Evolve was on there.
A
few more, yeah.
And so, about a month ago, it was announced that Flow Sports was introducing Flow Slam.
But the streaming service, I believe, or one of the partners in that was, I think, WWN.
Yeah, WWN. Yeah.
And WWE is an investor in that company.
Yeah. But according to Meltzer, they didn't know that they were going to be developing a streaming service like this because the WWE Network wanted to do this.
Yeah.
And so there's some not happy people that I don't think Vince is very happy about this, according to Meltzer. And so that apparently is really kicking, or that it's really getting the WWE, it's lit a fire into their ass to start snatching up more indie promotions. And so they're out there, and so I guess the head of Ring of Honor had said, at some point we'd love to work with the WWE.
Yeah.
So we might see some Ring of Honor streaming on
great.
WWE.
Great.
PWG, Meltzer indicated, might be a bit more difficult just because of the way they do things and the fact that they really love staying independent.
Yeah. Well, I wonder how much of PWG's business relies on their DVD sales too.
I would imagine, according to Meltzer, I've read before, that they are one of the last wrestling companies to really sell a lot of DVDs.
Yeah.
Like, I'm interested in buying the Battle of Los Angeles.
Yeah.
I know we've got our top 10 matches of the year coming up, and I need to see some of those stuff because I've heard some of that stuff is just outstanding.
Yeah.
And we're not gonna just stick to WWE.
No.
We want it to be across the board.
Yes.
So this is really potentially exciting stuff.
Yeah.
Because who wouldn't want to see, like, I purchased the Ring of Honor streaming service for a month, and the benefits just didn't outweigh the cost because it's around, I think it was $8, $9.
We said
a month.
the quality of the video wasn't that great.
The quality of the interface and the quality of the video just is crap. Like, it's just, I didn't get their latest pay-per-view. I'm gonna probably on Friday check out, or tonight I'm gonna check out the latest pay-per-view, the one that I think they're doing in New York, because I really love their wrestling. But like their TV, the video stream of their TV show, it's all interlaced. It just looks like crap.
Yeah.
And I'm not interested in it. So, but it'd be even cooler if it was on the WWE Network.
Yep.
Who wouldn't love that?
It'd be great if WWE would help some of these smaller promotions if they're going to have their content featured on the network, like help them upgrade their production gear.
Yeah.
Better cameras.
But there's also
better lighting.
Some of the conversation here in Wrestling Observer was spurred by ITV they're doing a reboot of, what is it called, World of Sport. They're the old British wrestling thing that Regal came up in. Well, they're doing a reboot of that in ITV, which is like the non-BBC TV station out there. I remember when I was a kid, there was BBC One, BBC Two, BBC Three,
Well,
and there's ITV4.
There's Sky now,
and
too,
there's
right?
Sky, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But I think those are the networks. I think Sky might be a cable channel. I could be completely wrong about this. But ITV is looking to get, but they haven't officially signed it. But that also lit a fire in WWE because WWE wants, as evidence, especially by the Cruiserweight Classic and the Cruiserweight division now, they want a lot of these indie talents. And they're starting to sign a lot of indie talents to these sort of first look deals.
Yeah.
And he said something about the latest ICW taping, the one that Finn Balor showed up at, that there's a lot of chatter in the locker rooms about these contracts because it allows these wrestlers, for one thing, to have their low guarantees, but they're guarantees, so they don't have to have an actual job. They can focus on their wrestling.
Yeah.
But it also prevents them from going to certain places the WWE doesn't want them to go to because they're in competition to get these streaming services. So there's a lot of chatter about, should you take these deals? Should you not take these deals?
It's almost like instead of having the Monday Night Wars, there's like wrestling streaming wars now.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah, because I imagine the WWE didn't realize that somebody else out there would have the infrastructure, Flow Sports.
Yeah.
To start up a streaming service like this.
Yeah.
So, I mean, when I saw what Flow Sports was offering, I wasn't really interested because it wasn't enough.
Yeah.
It was like, what is it, $15 a month or something?
Yeah,
and
it
you
was
get WWN, Evolve, I think. So I don't know. You're looking up FlowSlam TV, FlowSlam.tv.
Evolve, Shine, Full Impact Pro, and WWN Super Show.
Yeah. I mean, if that was incorporated in the WWE network, I'd pay $20 a month for it.
Yeah.
In a heartbeat, because it's all in one hub. That's also kind of the thing, is the convenience, is that for the Ring of Honor one, I had to go on their website. I had to log in. I had to search through their, not really great interface.
Yeah.
It's all very simple.
WWE's interface is pretty good.
Oh, I love their interface.
Yeah.
Across most of the platforms, it looks and feels really, really great. Some of their search engine stuff is kind of jank.
Yeah.
Like if you look up pay-per-view name and then the year, sometimes it doesn't pop up, and it's not always, but some of it. Like I remember when I was looking at WrestleMania, I was like, okay, WrestleMania, 1999, for example.
Yeah.
I don't think that's one of them, but I look up WrestleMania this, and I'm like, oh, I got to put in WrestleMania and then the Roman numerals for it to actually
15.
work. 15. You have to put, XV.
Oh, you can't put 15 in?
I'm not sure about that one specifically, but there are some like that.
I wonder for WrestleMania 17 if you had put WrestleMania X7.
X7, I think, And so their search engine isn't great.
It could just be they need to tag their
right, exactly.
things better.
But they also have some. Look, those are all really easy to find. You go to pay-per-view, you go to drop. You go to the
drop down menu. You can find them pretty easily.
If you want to go straight to search, you can't just put it in there. So
Yeah.
anyways, so this is really, this should be really, really interesting to see how 2017 works out for the WWE Network. I am totally on board paying $20 a month or $15 a month if it means I get. Are you kidding? Pro Wrestling Guerrilla?
Yeah, Ring of Honor
in a heartbeat. In a second. New Japan needs a streaming service. Like they have their New Japan World, which is a streaming service. They need that as apps on Apple TV and Roku or Xbox or PSN. That needs to happen because I love their shit. It's just digging through their interface when half of it is in Japanese. And it's like, okay, so you can get English translations, you can get all that kind of stuff, and they have English commentary matches. But, I'm lazy, like a lot of people. I'm used to the WWE Network. I want that. I want something that's even approximates that. Doesn't have to be all fancy. Anyways, we had an NXT last night.
Yeah.
This was coming from Canada.
Yeah,
again.
Ottawa, Canada.
Well, okay, so this was obviously taped in advance.
This was shot before the SmackDown after Survivor Series. So not this past SmackDown, the one before that. Last week's SmackDown.
Oh, okay. So that's why it was in a really big... So all those people were there for SmackDown and they got an NXT taping. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good episode.
Yeah, it was a fun show.
Asuka took on somebody named Nicole Matthews. She got ass whooped by Asuka too.
Yeah.
Which is great. Nicole Matthews, wish her all the luck in the world.
Yes.
Yeah. Good things for everybody. Samoa Joe gave an interview about how he's better than Shinsuke Nakamura.
Yeah.
And that Joe is gonna murder him in Japan as well.
Yeah.
And then Ty Dillinger comes up and slaps Joe in
Well,
the
before
face.
that, Joe said essentially, "Give me one reason why I should give you a match," and Ty did.
does this. Which
I can think of 10.
Yeah.
But here's one.
But what are those 10 reasons exactly?
Probably 10 slaps.
10 okay. Anyway, 10 fingers? What is he getting at?
He was working his gimmick into his motivation for wrestling Joe.
I understand that.
I don't think it was supposed to be taken literally.
Oh, I shouldn't take it literally. Okay.
Yes.
All right, I got you.
So, of course, after the slap, Joe gets mad.
Yeah.
And
Dillinger!
Yeah.
Then go running after him. He just says, Dillinger!
So Regal made the match official.
Come on!
So for our main event, we had Samoa Joe.
Yeah, Samoa Joe versus Ty Dillinger.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good match. They gave him about 20 minutes.
Yeah, it was a good match. I like Ty Dillinger said, because he was interviewed, and he said, if I'm not good enough to hang with Joe, maybe I don't belong here.
Well, he said not just hang, win.
Yeah. So, this is Ty Dillinger versus Samoa Joe. Where does Ty Dillinger go from here? I think I would not be surprised if he showed up at TLC or SmackDown following. I honestly wouldn't be surprised.
Well, there's two options seemingly. There's that, and going back to Triple H's comments about Ty Dillinger, how he hasn't been able to break through to the next level.
Yeah.
Which I thought that statement was all storyline. This match, that statement could be leading to some larger story
but it's
for
not,
Ty.
I looked at the spoilers.
Oh.
He's not contending for the title.
Oh, I saw that, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't think he would. I'm not talking about contending for the title. I'm just saying advancing a storyline where Ty is struggling to take it to that next level, to be a true main eventer in NXT. And eventually, say, I don't know, in 3 months or 6 months, 3 months, 6 months, whatever, Bobby Roode eventually gets the title.
Mm-hmm.
And he and Ty get into a program.
Mm-hmm.
And that's part of the narrative, where Ty is this hot babyface the crowd loves, but just can't capture that title. But when he eventually does, it's going to be huge. It could be all part of storyline, man.
Takeover before WrestleMania. Bobby Roode versus Ty Dillinger. Possibility for the title?
No, I think it'll be the one after that.
The takeover after that?
The one for SummerSlam.
Because there's a takeover at Rumble and there's a takeover. Yeah, I know, but they do stuff. Like Shinsuke might win that belt in Osaka. In Japan.
I'm pretty sure he will.
Pretty sure he's going to.
Yeah.
I guess because how long are you going to have Ty Dillinger hanging around NXT? You know.
Well, depending.
How long can you carry out that storyline about him?
So maybe they'll have their first match at a takeover before Mania, and maybe Ty wins the belt at a takeover Brooklyn 3.
Yeah. I don't know.
That'd be great.
Yeah. Either way, Ty Dillinger's gonna be around for a while. Everybody's doing his 10 chant. Whenever the ref counts, everybody counts 10.
Yeah.
So that's a thing now. So that's kind of cool.
There's a really great moment to this match where Joe did his kind of modified chokeslam move to Ty, and as he was doing it, he yells at Ty, "Sit your ass!
Sit your ass!"
And I'm there watching it on my computer, and I laugh,
start chuckling
because it was great.
I like that. I like that Ty Dillinger passed out.
Yes, didn't
tap out
exactly,
and he didn't get pinned.
Yep,
so that's big. That's actually pretty big. So that's pretty cool. No Way Jose took on Eric Young and basically all of Sanity because Eric Young and Sanity destroyed the new Cruiserweight champion. Oh shit, I shouldn't say that because it's
coming up in
the new Cruiserweight champion, Rich Swann.
Eric Young's finishing move is great.
Yeah, what is it again?
It's a wheelbarrow thing where he pops them up and they flip and then into a neck breaker. Yeah. It's pretty great.
I like Eric Young. I love him with Sanity. These people, it's great. I love.
You
Sanity.
said you want to talk for a few minutes about Nikki Cross's armpit hair.
These are the details that you need to get right. Nikki Cross is crazy, and I love her. She's great.
Yeah.
She's fantastic.
Yeah.
She tries to attack people. They have to hold her back. She's like the Wolverine of the group. She's like the feral person. That being said, she needs to grow out her underarm hair.
Here's something to consider.
Okay.
I don't know if every men's wrestler does it, but I know some do. They shave their armpit hair.
Yeah.
Because, during doing certain moves.
Well, it's unsightly. It doesn't look good.
Well, no. Also, doing certain moves, it could potentially chafe or pull hair from your armpit, and that's painful.
Yeah.
So that's something to consider.
She should let it grow out. Nobody wants
You're worried about aesthetics over everything else.
Yes, because it's a theater. It's a show.
I understand.
They're performing a show.
I understand, but you should think about also the fact.
I think they'd care much less
it's an
about
injury concern.
I think they'd care much less about underarm hair chafing than suplexes and choke slams. Those are the bigger concerns.
I don't know. Maybe it really hurts to get a huge
I think,
chunk of armpit hair pulled out from your armpit. I don't
How
know.
often is that? What move is going to lead to armpit hair getting pulled off?
Maybe something involving getting tossed onto the ropes. Because if you fall on the ropes, because when they fall, they don't fall on their neck. They fall right here.
Yeah.
Their arms over it.
Yeah.
And if you rotate your arms or your shoulders on the ropes, and if you have armpit hair, it could pull the hair
The
out.
correct answer is anything involving an exposed turnbuckle. Because there's like mechanics there that could get caught.
Yes, that too.
There. Yeah, but that's so rare. I don't really want her to grow out her underarm hair. I just think that it would fit with her character.
No, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. Anyways. Yeah, no Way Jose versus Eric Young. I like No Way Jose.
Yeah.
He's great. I like that he challenged all of Sanity come in that round.
I know.
That was cool.
I know.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Yeah, it was a good match. Eric Young went over.
Yeah.
Asuka gave an interview. I did not see that.
It was very short.
Was it? Okay, that's good.
She pretty much just said there's no more competition for me in NXT.
It's very true, Asuka.
See, do you think they're going to bring someone else in for the next takeover? I don't know who, though.
Well, they can't bring up Ember Moon that fast because she's a face. And I know Asuka's a heel, and Bayley was a face, so that shouldn't matter.
Asuka's a tweener.
Yeah. But you can't have Ember Moon job out to Asuka like this, not this early. That'd be kind of weird though. I guess they would have. Maybe that's the point of her interview, is the fact that it's like, man, there's nobody left here.
Yeah.
I mean, they can't really. They're not going to move up Peyton Royce or Billy Kay or Liv Morgan or Aaliyah that fast.
No,
that's not going to happen.
No.
So maybe, yeah, I don't know.
But I don't know who else they would bring in.
I don't know.
Beth Phoenix?
Maybe. Is she the one who's married to Edge?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, that'd be kind of whack, though.
You know, be cool
What?
if AJ Lee.
Oh, put that on things will never.
No, that's never going to happen. But it'd be neat.
It'd be awesome. It'd be great. Don't get me wrong. It'd be
fantastic.
great. People would mark out hard for it.
Yeah, that's not going to happen anytime soon.
Never gonna. You know, it'd be cooler. CM Punk, bring him in there against Asuka. He'll do it. He'll do it. What does that even mean? No, he wouldn't. Let's see. Then a Ty Dillinger interview where he said the thing about he's going to Maine, and then the main event Samoa Joe versus Ty Dillinger. Now it's time for 205 Live recap, the debut episode of 205 Live.
Yeah.
The Bollywood Boys took. Oh well, first of all, Austin Aries. Now that he's injured, his eye got poked out.
He made several references to winning that cruiserweight title. Is he going to be moved over to 205 Live once he's healthy?
He's going to be the Bruno Sammartino. He better be the Bruno Sammartino of the crew because he is so above the cruiserweight title. Those kids better make that title worth $1 million if they're going to bring Austin Aries, the greatest man who's ever lived, into the cruiserweight division. Because he did. He said that. And I was like...
at least twice,
yeah.
I recall, yeah.
That's cool. I mean, I think that's really cool. But man, if they're going to do that, then bring Neville down.
Yeah.
Bring
Kalisto
Sin
Cara
down. Sin Cara. Simon Gotch. He's tiny. Bring them all down. Bring them all down. Or do something, because Austin Aries stands out like a sore thumb. But in like who's ever going to beat him?
I know.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Who else is in NXT?
Hideo Itami.
Once
he's healthy.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me? You want to jack up the star power of the cruiserweight division? There you go. You're not going to be having Drew Gulak ain't going to be there anymore. If that's the case. That King Arthur looking fool with underwear. Weird. Anyway,
he did a move last night where he
I like Gulak.
He body slammed one of the Bollywood boys into the ring ropes.
Well, can we talk about the Bollywood boys really quick? I can't stand them. But here's the thing. I'm really glad they won last night. I view them in my eyes as like, how do I put this? I want them to win because I just feel for them. And I don't know, they just come off as lovable losers. They're so, like, as nerdy as I've said American Alpha is, these guys are so far beyond nerdy. One of them, I forget which one, has that goofy face. He's just so nerdy. And they do the Bollywood dancing thing, and they're so happy about it. There's nothing ironic there. It's just so nerdy. Like, there's that part of me that wants to see them get their asses just whooped every time. And so their high spirits are just a little bit more defeated. That's the thing about them. Their spirits are too high. Their spirits are way too high. They think we should be so happy for them because they're doing a Bollywood gimmick. And I love Bollywood. Bollywood's great. You watch a Bollywood video, it's hilarious. It's so funny, and it's so like, you know, they're doing their crazy dances, and then they like rewind it and forward it again, you know? Man, they're so nerdy. And I just want to see like their hopes get chipped away at until they turn heel.
Okay.
That's what I want.
You want that to be
What's your take on the Bollywood boys? Give me something. What's your take on the Bollywood boys? They're so nerdy. I want to see them lose.
You mentioned...
but then I'm happy when they win because I feel bad for them.
You mentioned last time, I think when they were on NXT, that you felt like they took too many elements from 80s wrestling in terms of being kind of... I don't remember the exact terminology.
They're just happy baby faces.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
Yeah. And then I accept that. They're decent in the ring.
Do they do anything for you? Do they do anything for you?
They're okay.
Were you happy or sad that they won last night? Or on Tuesday, whenever it was.
I mean,
you didn't care at all.
It was a decent match. Here's what it was. Given how much TV time Gulak and Nice have gotten lately on Raw, I was expecting them to win. So when the Bollywood boys won, I was surprised. And I was like, oh, okay.
They're so goofy. They're so nerdy. I want to pick on them. That's the thing. I want to pick on them. Because like they're small and they're nerdy. And I want to pick on them.
Be a star, Steve.
No, I want to be a bully.
No.
I want to push them. Because I feel like one of them is going to come up to me and, I don't know, try to be my friend. I don't want that. I don't want somebody to come up to me and try to be my friend. I choose who I hang out with. I chose you. You didn't choose me.
I think it was a mutual decision, first of all.
Yeah, it was, because you look grumpy. And I like other people who are grumpy, and these guys are not grumpy.
Okay.
So they're going to come up to me and they're going to say, hi, Steve, I want to be your friend. And I'm going to go, Larson, get over there. And then hopefully you'll comply.
No.
You'll get down. No, you're not going to comply?
I'm not going to do that.
I'll push him.
I'm not going to do that. Not going to do it, Steve.
He's going to come up to me and be like, Steve, how do I really have a crush on that girl over there. And I'll be like, dude, and I'll set him up for failure.
You're just being mean. Why?
Because they're too happy. They're too high-spirited.
Let them be happy.
I don't want to let them be happy. Nobody's to be that happy. Nobody's that happy. Rich Swann is an appropriate level of happy. I love Rich Swann's level of happiness. Because I feel like I can hang out with Rich Swann. And he's not going to be like, oh, Steve, I have a crush on that girl over there. He's going to be like, hey, Steve, I'm going to go mac on this girl over there. And be like, yeah, get your mac on. That's me and Rich Swann hanging out together.
Okay.
I'll be like, Rich, I'm married, but I'll be your wingman.
All right.
I'll be your wingman. These guys can be like, oh, I love this girl. I'll be like, oh, gosh, sack up.
You pick on the
Go tell her.
You pick on the Bollywood boys.
I want to pick on them so much.
Here, I want to talk about something real fast because I thought this was funny. After that match, Gulak and Nice gave an interview, and Nice said, I can't wrestle on that ring. It's lumpy. That's a WWE ring. He was like, this ring's not good enough for me. It's like, how many high school gyms have you wrestled in?
Weren't you just
where the
wrestling
mat
at
was
the flea markets?
Duct taped up.
Lumpy. He's lumpy. Who said that? Tony Nese?
Yeah.
I love Tony Nese because he has such a regular name. Hi, I'm Tony Nese.
The premier athlete.
The premier athlete. He looks like Mac from Always Sunny. He does. He looks like Mac. He does. He totally does. Because I always think that I have Tony Nese's face in my mind whenever I think about Tony Nese, and then I look at him like, that's not what I remember him looking like. He looks like Mac. So
no, I think you've confused their faces in your mind, but I don't think Tony Nese really looks anything like Mac.
Man, you don't want to know what's going on in my mind. It's a mess up there. Drew Gulak. What a mess. Yeah, then Brian Kendrick. Yeah, I love Brian Kendrick.
He's good.
He's great. And then Arya Davari took on Jack. Okay, you know what? I'll confess. A complete 180 degrees.
Really?
I love me some Jack Gallagher, man. Oh, boy, I love him.
His finishing move is a drop kick.
Number one, was that the same theme music that they used for the Cruiserweight Classic?
I don't think I watched most of the Cruiserweight Classic. I missed a couple episodes, and I think the ones I missed were the ones he wrestled.
That shit where he rolled up Arya Davari into a little pretzel, and then he kicked him in the taint. Oh, my God. I loved that so much.
Yeah, that was fun.
I loved everything about Jack Gallagher last night. I don't know why I've done such a 180, because before I wanted to push him down. But now, And I think it's because of that music. My only thing is this. Keep that music for his entrance, but when he wins, pump in the yakety sax, man.
Okay.
Pump in the yakety sax. That would be fucking amazing. Oh my God, that'd be amazing.
Let me ask you a question.
I'm signing Benny Hill to fuck wrestling.
Is his is Jack Gallagher's entrance theme? Do you think that's public domain?
It has to be, right?
Yeah, but yakety sax isn't.
Oh, well, they can get the rights to that. It can't be that.
Yeah, you'd think so.
Oh, I love it. That would be great.
I wish.
And then he speed walks around the ring.
Okay.
Oh, it'd be great. And then he like chases some buxom women.
I wish.
I just want him to be Benny Hill.
I just wish Jack Gallagher's finishing move wasn't a drop kick.
I love that.
No, because everything else, like he has these great technical wrestling moves and holds.
His finisher should be the roll the guy into a pretzel
And
and
then kick him in his
taint,
butt. Yeah.
in the taint.
But then he wins the match with a drop kick.
Yeah, no, it was great.
How many drop kicks does Dolph Ziggler do during the course of a normal match?
Yeah, but it's how you execute it. It's your power. It's how far
Daniel Bryan used to give people like 3 or 4 drop kicks in the corner during the course of a match, and he wouldn't win with that.
He won all of it, though. He won the belts.
But
Big
not
belts.
with that move. That wasn't his finishing move. He had the knee plus.
Look, man, these are cruiserweights. Jack Gallagher doesn't need all that knee plus business.
All right.
He's got the drop kick plus.
Let's talk about the main event. Let's talk about the main event.
That'd be great. The Brian Kendrick took on Rich Swann in a fantastic match. This was a really, really good match. I was so... Those false finishes with Brian Kendrick were so great. Mm-hmm. There were so many false finishes, and then Rich Swann got the win. What did he get the win with?
3 spinning heel kicks.
Yes. Man, this is a really good match.
I was kind of surprised that they started the match out kind of slow.
Mm-hmm. WWE
Let me ask you this.
Man. They're still in the WWE.
Yeah, no, that's what I was going to ask you, whether they were... I mean, like the Jack Gallagher-Arya Daivari match.
Yeah.
You know, they obviously let Jack Gallagher do his thing. But for the most part, the rest of the night seemed more WWE style as opposed to Cruiserweight Classic style matches.
Yeah, I know.
And do you think that's... I wonder if that's...
Jack Gallagher wrestled a Jack Gallagher match.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
And I wonder...
I see. Okay.
I wonder if that's less having them wrestle the WWE style for TV as opposed to having wrestle that style in a larger venue.
Yeah.
You know?
And it's also, what do you think about not to no-sell your question, but what do you think about the fact that they're doing this after SmackDown and how it relates to the crowd? Because the crowd, it wasn't until Jack Gallagher's gimmicky wrestling that the crowd started to get into it again.
I know.
Whoever's opening the 205 Live, they're going to have a tough task.
Well, they need to put on some really quality matches, open the show from now on.
They need to put on some like really crazy, crazy stuff. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how to fix that. I mean, God, that's so much wrestling. That is so much wrestling.
I know. I don't know. I wonder why they made the decision to do everything live, to do the show live every week.
I would think it'd have to be a logistics. Or no. Well, probably because they could, like they have the ability to do that.
Yeah, but it just feels like the show would. I mean, the Cruiserweight Classic benefited so much from being at Full Sail. Mm. And I also think it benefited because, it wasn't a weekly show. So in terms of the matches themselves, the wrestlers and the agents working with them had time to book matches that were complex and interesting instead of, doing more usual WWE style matches.
Yeah. Man, I don't
know.
I mean, I appreciate the live aspect of it.
Yeah.
It's good, it's a good selling point.
The first episode was good, and hopefully as the show goes on, more people tune in, more people get into the Cruiserweight division.
Yeah.
I like that they're giving the Cruiserweights an hour to develop characters and stories.
No, me too. I mean, hopefully by the time Austin Aries heals up that eye of his, we'll have like a really, really well fleshed out, developed Cruiserweight division.
Yeah.
That's the goal, I think.
Austin Aries versus Rich Swann would be a great feud.
Oh, who wouldn't want that?
Fantastic.
Who wouldn't want that? Did you hear the pop that Cedric Alexander got?
I know.
Biggest pop.
Yep.
Most pop.
Yep.
Let's answer some questions.
Yeah.
Ben Ignatiadis. Ben Ignatiadis. Hey, friendos, what are your thoughts on Sanity? I love their current stuff, just tagging people, and I love them. I think they're original, they're unique.
Yeah.
All those cliches you can say.
Yeah, and you love their theme.
I love their
makes
Primus
you
theme.
want to listen to Primus.
I have not yet, but in the moment, it makes me want to listen
I
to
feel
Primus.
like it's in theory a better idea to hear Sandy's theme than go listen to Primus than actually doing it.
That's why I haven't done it yet, because I realized that I don't really need to listen to Primus.
Smart of you.
Yeah, I wasn't even like a Primus fan
Nor was I.
when I was a teenager.
Joshua McKee. We mentioned recently that Braun Strowman could be the next Kane. You also called Bray the Undertaker 2.0. This works so well considering their history and a possible future with a mix of them competing both with and against each other, but also not being obvious copies of the originals. What other superstars do you think are or could be new versions of old legends?
Interesting. Is that nudity? Well, I've always said that I think Sami Zayn could be the next Daniel Bryan, and they're kind of giving indications of that with his feud with Mick Foley.
Remember when Seth Rollins first came up with the Shield?
Yeah.
I don't know if I read it somewhere or we thought that he could be kind of CM Punk 2.0.
A lot of people are making that comparison. Yeah, for sure. Those are all good answers. Dean Ambrose. I mean, Dean Ambrose always got the, he's the crazy tweener Stone Cold type, but I don't see that.
No, I don't think he's comparable to Stone Cold.
Yeah, nobody's comparable to Stone
No.
Cold. Matt Hobson. After 205 Live, have you... Oh, this is for me specifically. Steve, after 205 Live, have you changed your opinion on Jack Gallagher? I love me some Jack Gallagher. I am all on board with Jack Gallagher.
If they started selling Jack Gallagher shirts, would you buy one?
Oh, my God, in a second.
When are they going to start selling Cruiserweight merchandise?
If it was candy striped, like his little panties?
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I want a Cedric Alexander shirt.
Oh, my God, I'd love one.
I'd buy that right now if they offered it.
Right now. Wild Enigma.
How would you feel if WWE brought back Demolition to beat New Day to stop them beating their record?
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think they just Barry Darso and the other guy.
Which one was Earthquake?
Different team, man.
Somebody said in the comments on our SmackDown show, you guys need to watch the whole show. We don't know what we're doing.
I know they had some problems for a while, but I thought I read or heard that they patched up their relationship and were doing independent shows.
Ooh.
So I guess it's a possibility.
Oh, that's Demolition. Oh, yeah. Oh, aren't they just the Ascension? Did anybody ever... Why am I on videos?
I don't know.
All. Demolition Professional Wrestling. What's the next question while I look them?
Alexander Correnti. Hey, friendos. New patron, first-time question. Thank you very much. Alexander agrees with our opinion of Ellsworth.
Well, Bryan Adams is dead.
Yeah.
Axe and Smash are still around. Oh,
yeah.
The original guys. Oh, man. He's 68 years old. Good for him that he's freaking alive. Barry Darso.
Yeah.
Oh, my God. Look at him in 2008. He was still doing it. He's 57 right now. Good for them.
Could you see Ellsworth continuing his success away from the main event, maybe teaming him with Beauty and the Man Beast as their manager, or in some other role where you can still make an impact in a comedic way?
Barry Darso's various ring names are an entire kayfabe corner.
I know. I think I've used some of those before.
Mr. Hole-in-One. That's fantastic.
So Ellsworth, after he exits this main event storyline, what's next, essentially?
Cruiserweight division.
Yeah, probably.
Cruiserweight division would be great for Ellsworth.
Yeah, it would.
Because he's a star.
Yeah.
Put him there. They're not going to do that, but put him there. Maybe they would. That'd be great.
Yeah.
Why not? That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Tommy Atwell, if you could have a Cruiserweight Elimination Chamber, who'd be in it?
Great question.
All of them. All the Cruiserweights. But here's the catch. You cannot touch the floor. First person to touch the floor gets eliminated.
Okay.
So they're all just climbing on the cage.
Okay.
The Elimination Chamber cage.
Okay.
I like that a lot. Tyler Cassell, first-time supporter here. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you.
In a recent episode, you talked about Roman Reigns entering the Hall of Fame while being on the active roster.
I don't think we said that. I think someone asked us what wrestlers on the active roster do you see as future Hall of Famers?
Well, or I could have said it purely in jest.
Maybe.
That sounds like something.
I remember someone asking us that question.
Do you like that?
That'd be like the ultimate push. We're going to put you in the Hall of Fame while you're still
Oh,
wrestling.
that's what the joke was.
Oh, yeah.
Do you like that WWE would make him the head of the same class as Vader? No, that was a joke.
Yeah, it was a joke.
That was a joke. Sorry, I didn't mean to confuse you there, Tyler. Sometimes they say shit that just makes me laugh.
Steel O'Neil. Who would be in your current roster for Hossman?
The Hossman.
And your all-time version of the four Hossmen.
The current roster of Hossman would be...
Kane. Kane's a Hoss.
Kane is a Hoss. Okay, Kane. The current roster of four Hossmen, you'd put Kane in there?
Yeah.
Is Baron Corbin a Hoss?
Not yet.
Not yet. He needs some
He needs to fill out a little bit more.
He needs some chunk. It'd be Chris Hero. It'd be Chris Hero. I'll put Kane's fine.
Tucker Knight.
Tucker Knight. And how's Braun not in there? Braun's got to be in the Haas, man. He's definitely a Haas. Are you kidding me? You don't think he's a Haas? If Kane's a Haas, he's more of a Haas than Kane is.
Oh, I don't know about that. Strowman seems like he's all muscle.
Well, Kane ideally is all muscle.
He's
I
got.
don't think he means to be fat.
Well, he's not fat. He just has a little bit of a.
I mean, by
a
your
little bit of
logic,
a tummy.
Undertaker should be a Haas.
Oh yeah, yeah.
No, Kane can't be a Haas. He can't be like a demon from hell and be a Haas. Haas is like, you look like a dude in the South, a big boy in the South. That's a Haas.
All right.
Oh, well, let's get to the next one. Who's the Mount Rushmore of Hosses?
Oh, wow. Man, there's so many options.
I mean, Barry Windham.
Yeah, that's the first thing that came to my mind, too.
Barry Windham. Who are the boys in the last Battle of Atlantic? Because somebody.
Oh, Buzz Sawyer.
Buzz Sawyer.
Yeah.
I think Tommy Earth's the other one, but Buzz Sawyer.
Barry Windham's like the all-time Hoss, right?
Barry Windham is prime Hoss.
Oh, Bray Wyatt's a Hoss. Bray Wyatt's a Hoss.
Is he a Hoss?
If
He's not
Braun
slow,
Strowman's-
though. He's not slow, though.
Eric Rowan.
Oh, no. Luke Harper is
Yeah.
is prime Hoss.
Yeah, Luke Harper
He's
is
like the
prime
most
Hoss.
Hoss person I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
Bray is way too fast to be a Hoss. You gotta be slow if you're a Hoss.
All-time Hosses. We have two.
Who do we have so far?
Barry Windham.
And Buzz Sawyer.
Yeah.
Buzz Sawyer. Oh man.
Dan Spivey.
Dan Spivey. What a Hoss. And shouldn't Bobby Duncombe Jr. be on
Yeah,
there?
probably.
All right, there you go.
Great question.
What a great question.
Next.
Western States Heritage Champion Matthew E. Williams, Esquire. 320 days and still champion. This guy, I'm telling you, on Friendo Draft mock draft boards,
He has a whole stable.
he's got an entire stable, and he's throwing everything out of whack because they don't know where. Should he be number one? Should his stable be in the top 10? Like, where does he go?
Did we ever decide we said tag teams could be drafted together.
Yeah, we need info on the tag
What about
teams.
stables?
Stables? Oh, stables can't be drafted together. Sure, why not?
Yeah.
That's a math. What is a stable called again?
The Empire of Pain.
Yeah, the EOP. Sounds like a governmental agency. His question is this. Apollo Crews, who I mentioned before in that New Nation idea, the Ascension, the Vaudevillains, Jack Swagger, and perhaps American Alpha, all seem to be hitting a ceiling that results in diminishing returns from the fans. So how would you deal with the amount of talent needing at least a refresh on SmackDown? Trades, character revamps, perhaps some tactical time off to places like Evolve or outright releases. I thought about borrowing from baseball and running an injury angle to send people for rehab assignment to NXT would be an interesting way to refresh.
I think that's a good idea.
An injury angle to refresh them?
Well,
Or rehab assignment NXT?
yeah.
I don't know. I like NXT
I don't think you could do that with everybody currently struggling on SmackDown.
Jack Swagger needs to be released.
Yes.
I love Jack Swagger. I think
me.
he can make a lot of money throwing WCPW to get Jack Swagger. Have Steven Larson as YouTuber managers for Jack Swagger in Orlando or Ryback, whichever one you guys want. Adams, it's up to you.
Yeah.
Well, we're just saying we're here. We're
Yeah.
available.
Yeah.
We're going to be there.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree that.
Jack Swagger, they're not
Yeah.
doing anything with him. He can make more
But
money.
everybody else he mentioned, Apollo Crews, the Ascension, and the Vaudevillains, they haven't been on the main roster that long.
SmackDown
They're all
doesn't-
still young.
Look, man, give SmackDown a third hour to develop their fucking tag team division. My goodness gracious. You've got a lot of women who aren't doing anything.
Yeah.
Naomi. And you've got these tag teams that are just sitting around doing nothing.
Remember when the Vaudevillains, they built them up so it seemed like they could beat the New Day?
Yeah, I do.
And ever since then, they haven't done anything with them.
They needed to send them back to the time travel.
They're not time travelers, man.
They are so time travelers.
Not.
Jesus.
Do you think Undertaker will appear after Ambrose and AJ's match at TLC?
I think it'll be SmackDown. It'll be SmackDown.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see the Undertaker at TLC.
Daniel Rudo Suave. Ooh, Rudo Suave. You're in the zombie apocalypse. Both of you have to agree on 6 wrestlers of your choice to survive with. Choose wisely. And any promotion counts, and there has to be at least one female. His are Lita, John Cena, Lesnar, Enzo, New Jack, and RVD. I would not have New Jack on my team, man. That's terrifying.
Lesnar, yes.
Here's the problem with Lesnar, though. What if he's not the fastest dude in the world? I'd go with Braun because I know he's fast.
Oh, okay.
I'd go with Braun as my big monster guy. The problem with Lesnar is that he's slow, and you don't want a slow monster because if he gets bit, he's going to be like a boss zombie.
Yeah. So, okay, I'll agree with Strowman.
Cena would be too bossy, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to go with that. I'll go Strowman.
We have to agree on 6. So this is the debate we're going to have.
Okay, that's fine. Strowman, Kurt Angle.
Why?
True leader, not too bossy, good guy. Not high maintenance. Cena's high maintenance. So he'd be like a wizened veteran version of John Cena. He's still athletic. Okay. He's got his priorities straight.
I'm a Kurt Angle fan, so I'll say yes.
Broken Matt Hardy.
I was just about to say that. Just about to say that.
In a zombie apocalypse, you need a guy who knows powers of darkness.
And he has Vanguard 1 that you can use to scout.
Exactly.
Before
the most
moving.
Thing, yeah. So that's how many is that?
3. We need one woman.
Okay, we need a woman. I'd say Asuka. I'd go with Asuka.
That's a good choice. Asuka's a good choice.
Because she's younger. She can just destroy things.
How many is that? 4?
She's brutal.
2 more.
And she dressed up as like a zombie character in her previous promotion that she was in. Yeah. That's 4. We need 2 more. I don't know why this guy chooses Enzo. That's like the most useless pick. Why would you ever choose Enzo? What in the hell is he going to do that you can't already do? You know what I mean? You need utility pieces.
He's going to drop a promo on the zombies.
Who's a good scout? Well, I guess we have Vanguard 1. But we probably need like a human scout to go scout out things. I mean, Enzo would be good for like bait. Who's our Glenn?
Sami Zayn.
Sami Zayn would be good. Low maintenance. Good guy.
A lot of heart.
So
that's 5. We need 1 more.
Uno mas. Well, he said we have to pick at least 1 female, but it could be several females.
Yes.
Yeah. Who would find me attractive and not the other guy's attractive? Because you need to get your,
It always comes back to that.
You need to get love. You
It
need to
always
get
comes
love
back to
on.
that.
What are you going to do? You need to get love on. Who do you think has a good sense of humor?
Finn Balor.
No, a woman.
Oh.
I don't want to make love to. Maybe I do.
Sasha.
Who would like me? Sasha?
Well, I don't know if she'd like you, but she seemed to have a good sense of humor when we talked to her last.
Yeah, she was funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I could develop a zombie apocalypse relationship with Sasha Banks. Maybe like she's sad because her husband became a zombie. And then I'm like, yeah, so did mine when I pushed Lacey in a pack of zombies.
Is your stomach grumbling?
That's how it grows. All I had is that fucking green machine juice over there.
You need to eat more.
Man, I don't want to be a hoss. Trying not to be a. You looking at my ass? Are you looking at my ass? Okay, let's see here. Toby Whittle with the question of the day.
Yeah.
If
This is
Mojo,
easy answer too.
If Mojo had a go-to weapon, what would it be?
The sex toy with Zubaz print.
What?
We talked. Was it on?
Yeah, about sex toys. Yeah, he'd be selling sex toys.
Yeah, his sex toy. But I think his model should have Zubaz print on it.
His model?
Like the one he's pitching.
The one he's pitching.
Yeah.
Is it like a Mojo mold?
Oh, I don't know about that.
I think it should be.
Okay.
You want my dick? Do you want to use my dick in your play toys?
It stays hype.
It stays hype. So your pussy stays hype.
There you go.
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, it's like in Saints Row when you can have the big dildo.
Yeah.
It'd be Mojo's dildo.
Yeah.
That's good. We have one video question from Samuel O., our new patron. Let's take a look.
The Wyatt family. Luke, Randy, Bray, Marsha. Oh wait, wrong family. That's the Brady bunch. But anyway, what's fixing to happen here? Because if you notice, it's almost like Randy's setting Luke up to fall every time. Luke came back last night, saved the day because Randy was pinned the hell down. And, besides the botched camera angle that they had to come back and show in the replay and make a big deal about it, I thought Romello was, or whatever his name is, Block Party was going to poop down both legs because they missed a shot. Where are they going with this? Is this going to keep creeping, you think, going along till we get like a big, climax and fireworks and Tchaikovsky's playing in the background and things blowing up? Or is this going to creep up and be more of a, Luke waits for Randy to make a move and just stabs his hand to the table like Wild West style? Or is he going to also make friends with Luke? Do you think they're going to take it that far? That he's not only going to make Randy believe in him, but Luke too?
Thank you, Samuel.
Thank you.
He's got a lot of dogs. He's got a lot of animals over there, so good for him. But he wants to know generally what's going to happen with the new Wyatt family. This whole Luke Harper, Randy Orton dynamic, what's going to go on with that?
Well, when Randy joined, I assumed then that he was going to adopt a divide and conquer strategy.
Yeah.
It seemed pretty obvious.
Sounds right.
So it just depends on how long they take the story.
Yeah.
I think it'd be great if it was they took another year. WrestleMania 34.
I
Have
would
Bray get the belt. Have Randy turn on him. Have them have a title match at WrestleMania.
Here's the thing. Luke Harper is a supremely talented wrestler
Yes.
who they don't use his talents nearly enough.
He should not have jobbed out to Kane twice.
No, he should not have. Also, that being said, it would be great if they spent that year in establishing him as his own person as part of the fallout of this Randy.
They made such a huge deal of him
Wyatt.
coming back at No Mercy.
I know.
And here and there, he's made an impact, but by and large,
'Cause
he's still Bray's sidekick.
They can build up another upper mid-carder.
Yep.
They can totally do that.
He's a former Intercontinental Champion.
And you'd have to tweak his aesthetics a little bit to show that he's his own guy.
Did you notice they changed his Titantron package?
Oh.
It's not all the eyes anymore.
Oh, cool. Right on. That's good.
Yeah.
And I don't know, aesthetically, I don't know exactly what direction you'd go in. I'm sure if I gave it some thought, I could think about it. But I think that would be important because you don't want to, it never works when you've got a traditionally B player in a stable going off on his own thing and then having single success.
Yeah. It usually doesn't happen.
We're seeing that right now with Braun Strowman. And what did they do? Aesthetically, they tweaked him.
Yeah.
And so you need to do the same thing with Luke Harper.
Yeah. Well, are you suggesting that they break him off from the Wyatt family
I think that they could do that
over this next year?
Over this next year, as part of the fallout from the Randy, and you can explore bringing them back together as the Wyatt family down the line.
Yeah.
But that would make Luke even stronger as a partner for Bray in the Wyatt family.
I almost think that, eventually you could break the. I think that's the end game, anyways. Is for Randy at least is breaking up the Wyatt family.
Yeah.
But I think if for that to be more impactful, you got to start building up Luke Harper as a legitimate upper mid-carder while still a member of the family.
Right. Then that's the point of having it be part of this long 1 year thing.
Yeah.
If you have him involved in, eventually in jobbing him to Kane on the pre-show, you're absolutely right. It's not going to happen. But having matches with Kane like we saw on SmackDown the other day would help a lot because it shows that he's a good wrestler. And
he needs to start winning some of those matches.
Exactly. But if you start getting the crowd on his side, as part of this Randy Bray thing, then you have a really good opportunity to make him into a solid singles performer.
Yeah.
So hopefully that's what happens. But as in terms of what's actually going to happen, we don't know. And it's great. It's good stuff. Anyways, that's it for Going in Raw, the dirt sheet.
Yes.
For now, this week got a couple of choice count-outs.
Yes.
And hopefully you like them. And that's it.
That's it.
So another good week in the bag. Give me a 2 sweet for Adam Cole's title defense against, I think his name is O'Reilly at Ring of Honor. 2 sweet for that. Whatever, slap nuts. You're going to be wearing that shirt again next week.
Nope.
All right. We'll talk to you guys later.
Bye.